Welcome to the hobby shop. As you see in front of me, I got some paperwork. Usually when you script, you write stuff down, but I printed this out. Have you ever wondered what the difference is between the vegetables you see in the store compared to the vegetables in the UK? This is what this video is about. We'll start off with the UK. Does not commercially grow modified vegetables like the US, corn, soy, papaya, etc. But recent UK laws allow gene-edited crops, tweaked DNA, not foreign genes, in England through Scotland, Wales, and Norway. Have different rules. With the U.S. widely growing GM crops for food and feed, the U.S. heavily cultivates GM corn, soy, cotton, potatoes, etc., while the UK mostly sees GM contents via animal feed or important oils with restrict label laws. You ever go over to the UK and look at the back of a label and see the ingredients, then come back to the US, find the same product and read the ingredients on that label? They're totally different. The US is a major producer of GM crops, often engineered for pest resistant and herbicide tolerance. In other words, you see people out there spraying their crops and everything. You don't know what they're spraying on the crops, and does that herbicide affect the person eating that product? In the UK, commercial growers, no traditional GM crops are grown commercially in the UK. They don't allow it. The UK imports GM ingredients, mainly soy and maize, used for animal feed and some cooking oils. But these must be labeled. The U.S. has embraced large-scale GM crop cultivation for decades, whereas the UK has historically have significant public residents, leading to ban the field trials and commercial planting. Through this is solely changing with gene editing. They are slowly getting into trials, but not as extensive as the US. To me, the people behind the corporate conglomerate engineering vegetables, I'll say, buying these big machines so they don't have to pay people to pick their crops. So they don't have to pay all that income tax and wages and insurance and all that, but they'd rather spend it on $200 to $500 or more $1 million vehicles So yes, if you have a small backyard, hand tools, basically if you got a rototiller to dig up some of the ground, but if you have half an acre or a couple acres and you don't know really what to do with it, go out, take a look at it, scan in the acreage, envision what this could be. And you're thinking, well, I can't afford brand new equipment. Have you inherited a farm with old equipment, but it still works? You might have to modify it or do a little work on it. Is it cheaper to spend $1,000 on a piece of vintage machinery compared to $100,000 on a brand new one or more? Yes, you could run a profitable farm with vintage machinery, especially by focusing on specialty crops, direct to customer sales, or smaller plots where simplicity and lower overhead shines. But it requires mechanical skill, a small niche market, and avoiding direct competition with large-scale farmers who rely on modern equipment. Success hinges on lower equipment costs, as older machinery are often paid off and cheaper to maintain. So you might have to do some work on your machine, even if you never did it. But once you have repaired or strategically crop choice for your profitability, the niche: grow high value produce like specialty vegetables, heirloom grains, blue corn, niche corn for decoration, or organic produce that doesn't require massive acreage or high-tech planters. Direct sales: sell directly to customers at farmers markets or online, capturing premium prices and bypassing commodity markets like the grocery store. Simple operations: use smaller plots or less land, making older, smaller equipment perfectly adequate. Learn to do your own repairs, simple mechanics on older equipment. If I had a farm again, that's what I would do. Go to auctions, depending on the availability you have money-wise. You might have to start off small with a few hand tools and work your way up. Maybe you could, instead of going to a bank, you might ask your father or uncle or whoever if they would loan you, let's call it a corporate loan for your farm just to get started and pay them back eventually. If you inherit a farm, that's great. You might find some farm equipment buried in the weeds. Pull it out, look at it. If it's fixable, unusable, go for it. That's money in your pocket. My mother said years ago when I was younger that farming wasn't a profitable venture. I knew it was wrong at the time, but of course, I never went forward with that. My uncle had a farm up the road. I used to go up on the farm, help him hay. One year we did oats, sneezed my head off, but I loved it. Watch him plow the fields, plant the fields with corn, hay. Even talked my grandmother, when she was still alive, into a small area for me to garden. And we did that, but only for, I believe, a year, maybe two. We did some gardening down at the house where I grew up, but I never got really into it. I faded away. Now I wish I took more incentive growing crops and learning. So, you ever go to the grocery store and grab a bag of lettuce and look at it, and you look at the bottom, it's kind of ucky, you could say. And you look at the label, made in Mexico. Well, you don't know when that lettuce was picked. You don't know how long it's been sitting in the warehouse. You don't know how long it took for it to get onto the truck to get up to the store that you're shopping at. Lettuce doesn't last. Did you know the apples in the store are 6 to 8 months old? Because they've been sitting in the warehouse. Most of the vegetables that you see now at your grocery store are sitting in the warehouse until the grocery store says, hey, send this. Then they send it, but you don't know how long it's been picked, how long it got to the store. Watermelons. I walked in the store the other day and seen a box of watermelons. No. Watermelons are stored in warehouses. As soon as the watermelons are picked, oh yeah, they got a nice hard core in that, but once you've cut into them, do they taste like the day they were picked? No. Corn, the same way. As soon as they are picked, the sugars turn to starch within 6 to 8 hours. You don't know when the corn was picked, how long it got shipped, the same thing. It tastes starchy, I remember back in the 60s when we planted, let's say you planted everything that's in the supermarket. It gets to the store, what I call mom and pop stores at the time. At the end of harvest season, mainly October, November, maybe a little bit in September or December, I mean. You go back in, the counters are bare because there is no more vegetables. They have not harvested anymore. We got to wait till the harvest season for another year. That's why you see vegetables in the crop in the stores year after year, after month, after week, after day. Because they get stored in big warehouses by these conglomerate manufacturers. So I could say a lot more about the conglomerate manufacturers, but I'm not going to get into that. It's up to you to decide what you want to buy, what you want to, how you want to cook it. If you ever get a chance to buy a product from the grocery store, then buy the same product or something similar at a farmer's market and do a taste test. I'll guarantee the product you bought at the farmer's market tastes a lot better than the store product, because the taste of any of the products in the store fade over time. I hope you like this little segment. Please leave your comment and suggestions, and subscribe to my channel for more information about vegetables and gardening. Have a nice day.